What's up guys, Michael here with Primal, and today we're talking knife maintenance. And a little later on in the video, I got a sharpness test that'll blow your mind, so stick around. Whether it's out on the trail, in the shop, the garage, around the house, or even in the car, I'm never too far away from my knife. And believe me, it gets a lot of abuse. And I ain't ashamed to admit it. When it comes to cleaning, sharpening, and taking care of my stuff, I hate it. It's the last thing on my list of things to do, and that's why I put it off as long as humanly possible. But the fact is, you gotta take care of your equipment. For some of us, it's our livelihood. For others, it's just a hobby or something we do to pass the time. But no matter what the tool or what you use it for, at some point in time, it's going to require a little maintenance. And that's what we're talking about today. I intentionally let my knife get a little bit worse than I usually do, specifically for this video. It's been a couple of months since I've done anything to it, and it's been well over a year since it's been sharpened at all. Now obviously care and maintenance is going to be unique and specific to whatever tool you're working on. But today, we're talking about knives, and really this can probably be applied to axes as well. My routine is fairly simple. I start off by wiping off as much of the gunk as humanly possible, and then I get to work on it with a little bit of wet or dry sandpaper. Lubricated with just a little bit of WD-40. And in this case, I'm using the silicone brand, which of course I'll link down below. And also, before anyone asks, this is one of my knife designs. It's called the Wanderer, and I'll also link that down in the description. As of shooting this video, it is still one of the knives I offer on my website. Good old-fashioned elbow grease and patience is really all it takes to get these knives clean. They're pretty forgiving in that respect. I run through the grits, and I start pretty high, around 600, and finish off around 1500 to make sure it gets perfectly clean. I'm not overly concerned about getting a mirror polish on this thing. If it shines up, that's great, but if it doesn't, I'm okay with that as well. In fact, I generally prefer a satin finish on my knives, simply because a mirror finish is always so difficult to maintain. When this knife was originally built, it did have a satin finish, but for the sake of today's video, I'm going to show you how to bring it up to a mirror shine. And again, I'm not looking to have anything that I'll be able to brush my teeth in, but I do want to show you that you can bring a matte finish knife up to a mirror finish if you want to. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are very particular about how they sharpen their knives. My advice, find what works best for you. Some people like to take the knife, roll it across the stone or whatever they're using. Me, I like to do it the other way around. I like the knife to stay still, and I like to bring the sandpaper to the knife. And yes, I use sandpaper as opposed to sharpening stones. I've used all different kinds, inexpensive ones, expensive ones, Japanese ones, and they're all great, and I have nothing against any of them. But for my technique and the way I work, I prefer wet or dry paper. I take it up again to the grits, as high as I can possibly get. Generally, I go around 1500, maybe to 2000. And get the blade as sharp as I possibly can. I use a good solid metal polish and a piece of leather to help remove any of those finer scratches. Leather can be used for much more than just stropping the edge. It's fantastic to carry that compound all across the blade, removing scratches and getting it really looking nice. And shaven sharp? Yeah, it's shaven sharp. But this isn't the sharpness test I was talking about. That's coming up at the end. I'll let it speak for itself. And after I made sure the blade was nice and clean and pretty well polished, I moved on to the handle, which is really simple. This is an all-natural handle. I used a little bit of mineral spirits to help clean out some of the compound, get some of the dirt and grease and sweat all off of that thing. It's a trick I learned from a friend of mine a few years ago. She works estate sales and always had to clean up the furniture and make it look its best. When it came to the hardwood furniture, they always relied on mineral spirits and it did a fantastic job. So now I'm using it on my knife. After the handle was done, I decided it was time to give the lanyard a switch up. I've been using orange since I made the knife, God knows how many years ago. So I switched it up to red, just for something a little different. I ran out to the shop and spent about 15 minutes on the buffing wheel just to take off any of the scratches I might have missed. Not a whole lot of time, maybe 10 or 15 minutes at best. And this is the result. Guys, thanks again for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give me a like. If you enjoy this type of content, think about subscribing. I'm putting out videos every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here's a couple of other videos you might want to check out, as well as a link to my website and my Amazon store. Again, thanks for tuning in. You all have a great day, and I'll see you next week.